Hi, my name is Zad and I'm making this video for the Computer Science Honor Society of Robbinsville High School. Today's video topic is data types in Python. So what are data types? Data types are different values and sizes that can be stored in a certain variable that allows the computer to comprehend it. So in Python, there are two types of data types, and this holds true for most programming languages as well. So primitive and non-primitive. Primitive data types in Python are the four data sets that specify the size and type of the variable values, and some examples of those are int or float. And non-primitive data types in Python are user-defined data, which is stored in the variable of different types. And examples of those can be arrays or lists. So the four categories of primitive data types are int, which store whole numbers, positive or negative numbers, and numbers without a decimal. Then there's floats, which store numbers that include fractions or containing one or more decimals. And then there's strings, which hold words or combinations of words and characters. And then there's bool, which holds only two values, either true or false. So int is short for integer, and it represents whole number values anywhere from negative infinity to positive infinity. Some examples of int values are negative 2000, negative 5, 0, 34, and 100. And examples of int variables, some examples that you can name them could be grade. Grade would be an int. Number of people in any situation could be an int. And if you want to create a variable to count something, that would also be an int. So an example of the syntax would just be var would be your variable name. Then you would have the equals sign to initialize your variable, and then 5 would be the value of your variable, which would be an int. So float represents any floating point numbers. It's used for variables that involve decimals. Some examples could be negative 12, negative 2.7128, 0.0, 3.1415, and 6.0. Some examples of float variables could be temperature, price, or any support statistics. So an example of the syntax of a float variable, var would be the variable name, then you have the equals to initialize the variable, and then 2.67 would indeed be a float. So string, str is short for string. And strings are basically any text, any combinations of words or characters. So examples of string values could be hello, just a single space. You could have 2 or 2 plus 5. And notice that you can only have a string as long as it's in surrounded by quotation marks. So examples of string variables could be name, email, product name, or search. So an example of the string syntax would be var is a variable name, e is for initializing the variable. And you can see we have hello and then an exclamation point and surrounded by quotation marks, which makes it a string. So bool is short for Boolean, and Booleans can represent one of two values, true or false. An example of bool variables could be is member or is someone 18 years or older. So an example of Boolean syntax would be var as a variable name equals sign as the initialization, and then true is one of the two values that you could put as a bool.